back with our Headway Plus book. And my name is Mr. Paul Anthony, and I'm here at Al Jazeera International Academy. So we're going to look at page 66 of the unit. This is a unit which looks at young people. It's on unit 7. And first we're looking at reading and speaking. But before we do that, I'd just like to ask Mr. Liu a question. When do young people usually leave home in Los Angeles? That's where you're from, isn't it? Las Vegas. Are you from Vegas or Angeles? Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, so, yeah, sorry.
There are a large number of people in LA who leave home for college when they're 18 years old, graduate high school. Those who don't go to college and get jobs may live at home for a period of time while they're working until they're at a point where their monthly income is high enough that they can afford their own apartments.
Okay. And why do they leave? Why do they leave home?
Well, those who go off to college will leave home because they want to be able to focus on their studies. And those who are just working and get to a point where they're earning enough to leave home usually do it because they want to have more freedom and they want to look more successful by being able to live on their own.
Oh, I see. And what are the reasons against leaving home? You know, the ones that actually don't leave home.
Those who do not leave home can save more money up. They don't have to pay for rent and utilities, and they can probably save on their food bill as well. So they're able to pay off debts or save up money for a house, something of that nature. If they get along well with their parents and their broader families, then they of course have more family support. They have more people to help them doing things. If they're going to be at work all day and they want someone to babysit for their kids, something of that nature, then they do have a babysitter there and their parents help them. So I can see a few reasons there.
Okay, that's fine. So in our unit it says, meet the Kippers. Probably see this a bit better on the book. I can show you that. There it is. Meet the Kippers. Now, Kippers is an acronym for Kids in Parents' Pockets, Eroding Retirement Savings. What does that mean to you, Mr. Liu?
Kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings. It looks like there are people who are living with their parents and their parents are giving them the money they need for their living expenses, and so instead of their parents saving for retirement, they're allocating a lot of their income to their children.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's interesting. Now here we have Vicky Sargent, and this is her father, Norbert. He's 65 years of age. And so she's his daughter. And there's some things about children of families who don't actually leave home. Could you read this first part here for me, Mr. Liu?
Sure. If I wasn't living at home, I wouldn't be able to afford to live in such a beautiful house. I'd only be able to rent a room in a flat. This way I have my father for company and money for a social life. It's just too comfortable to move out.
I see. So, if she wasn't living at home, what wouldn't she be able to do?
She wouldn't have as much money for her social life.
Yes.
She wouldn't be able to buy her own home. She'd have to rent a room in a flat, rent a room with roommates.
So really, it's living at home for her has become somewhat comfortable.
It has?
Yes, yes. Could you read this paragraph here, please, Mr. Liu?
My dad and I get on so well. We usually have dinner together, and if I'm not out, I'll spend the evening with him watching TV. He spoils me a lot and treats me at least once a week to a meal at a nearby restaurant.
Okay. So, what do Vicky and her father do together?
We watch TV, go to restaurants.
Yes. Could you read this paragraph here?
My friends don't get it. They say I'm living in a bubble away from the real world, and I suppose they're right. But they also admit they're jealous. They're always so strapped for cash because of their high rents. I don't pay my father any rent, but I buy the food and contribute to the phone bill.
So, what do her friends mean when they say she's living in a bubble?
Well, by living with her father, she is not having to deal with some of the stresses of the real world, having to keep up with bills and rent and whatnot.
Yes. And do you think her friends are jealous of her?
I think they may be, right? They admit they're jealous. They have problems with money because they have to pay high rents. And she pays no rent, so she doesn't have problems with money.
Okay. And what does it mean, strapped for cash? Strapped for cash.
For cash. They don't have a lot of money. They have problems making their bills.
Yes. So she says she doesn't pay her father any rent. Does she pay for anything?
She buys food and pays for part of the phone bill.
Yeah, I wonder who she buys the food for. Do you think she buys her own food?
Probably buys her own food. Maybe they eat together sometimes. She pays for some of the groceries.
Yes. That's interesting. Can you read that final part there?
Apart from the 3 months when I went traveling in my early 20s, I have never lived away from home.
So she's never lived away from home. I think she would be in for a surprise if she left home. Okay. So now we're going to look at Martin Gibbs. Here's a picture of Martin Gibbs. There it is. You can see that. There's a picture of Martin Gibbs. He's 28. He lives with his parents, Kathy. She's 52. And his father, Robert, who's 54. So, Mr. Lou, could you read this paragraph here, please?
I have to admit that I'm spoiled at home, so it's hard to imagine moving out. My mom always has my tea on the table when I return from work. We all get on really well together, although my parents can get on my nerves when they tell me what to do. I'm sure I get on their nerves as well sometimes.
Why does Martin find it difficult to move out?
Well, he says that his parents make him tea and food when he gets home from work. He gets on well with his parents. He says that sometimes they get each other's nerves, but it's not a big issue, right?
Okay. What does it mean to get on someone's nerves? Can get on my nerves?
It means to bother them, but to bother them in a way that's not really a major, serious issue.
Okay. Like, a bit annoying, perhaps, do you think?
Yeah. Annoying, but not
But
major.
not irritating.
No.
Okay. So could you read that part which begins at 23?
23, I moved out for 2 years. I lived with a friend for a short time, then went traveling in Australia. It was a brilliant experience, but I got into debt, about £2,000. I had to come back and live at home so I could afford to pay it off. My parents don't charge me rent, so I can spend all my salary on enjoying myself. Sometimes girls call me a mummy's boy, but I think they like it. It's a lovely, cozy place to bring girls back to because there's always an open fire and something cooking in the oven.
How long did our friend Martin move out for?
2 years.
For 2 years, yeah. And when was that?
That was in, let's see, he was 23 years old, but he doesn't give us an exact date.
Yeah. Did he live with anybody? Was he travelling? What was he doing?
He lived with a friend for 2 years, and then he traveled for a bit in Australia.
Okay. Did he enjoy the experience?
He says it was brilliant, so yes he did.
So yeah, so brilliant means very, very good, fantastic even. Did he have any debts or anything?
Yes, £2,000.
Yes. So is this the reason why he moved back home?
Right, he didn't have to pay rent, so he wanted to pay it off.
Okay. What do the girls that he knows, what do they sometimes call him?
They call him a mummy's boy, but they like it.
So what does that mean, a mummy's boy? What is that?
Oh, it's someone who has a very strong relationship with their mother, and it usually implies that they do whatever their mother says.
Okay. What about this word here? What does this mean? Cozy. What does that mean, cozy?
Cozy means that he likes his home, he thinks it's comfortable, he thinks it's a charming place to make friends to.
Yeah, so a cozy place is a comfortable place, and in this case, a comfortable place to bring back girls. So now we're going to look at the parents. Bill Kennedy tells why his children, Anna, Simon and Andrew, can stay as long as they like. And could you read this first paragraph here, please, Mr. Liu?
No one told me, but it seems I was the father of kippers for years without knowing it. My three children all live at home well into their late 20s. I know there will be some parents at their wits' ends with their lazy kids sponging off them. Actually, we don't want an empty nest. What puzzles me is why parents should ever want children to leave home at 18. My wife, Judy, and I made it very easy for them to stay with us. It allowed them to postpone growing up, and it helped us postpone getting old. Honestly, I would happily forfeit any number of retirement perks. Golfing, snorkeling holidays in Portugal, Paris, Peru, or wherever, for just a few more years with our children at home. And why? Because the money is never there. Family is. Sandra Lane, 49, says it's domestic hell with her son, Ellen, 27.
Well, you can stop now. What does he mean? That I was the father of kippers for years without knowing it. What does he mean by that? From the perspective of kippers is an acronym for Kids in Parents' Pockets Eroding Retirement Savings.
Well, it seems as though he likes having his kids at home.
Yeah.
And I suppose it was costing him some extra money in terms of food and whatnot to have them there. But it looks as though he was so happy to be able to spend time with his own family that he didn't really consider it a major expense or any kind of a problem to be allocating more of his savings to supporting his kids.
Yes. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? And what does it mean? Some parents at their wits' ends. What does that mean? Their wits' ends.
It usually means that they're having problems, that they don't want to deal with a certain issue in their lives. I'm at my wits' ends. It means that I've tried to solve a given problem over and over and it hasn't been successful and the problem is bothering me.
Okay. What does it mean? Sponging. Lazy kids sponging off them. Sponging.
Sponging usually means costing another person money and not giving them much in return.
Okay, what does it mean when he says, we don't want an empty nest? What's a nest? An empty nest?
Empty nest. That would be when the kids actually leave home and the parents are there by themselves.
Okay. He says, what puzzles me? What does he mean by that? What puzzles me?
What confuses me?
What confuses me? Yeah, he's confused about something. And he doesn't understand why parents actually want their children to leave home. Well, that's another story.
Well, it makes it look like he really loves his children and that he wants them to be there.
Yes.
He doesn't see why other people disagree with his outlook on having kids at home.
What does it mean it allowed them to postpone growing up?
Well, they were able to possibly, pursue things like taking classes and pursuing hobbies and whatnot, rather than just spending all of their time worrying about making money and saving money and living, I guess what we suppose is a middle class to upper middle class lifestyle.
Okay, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, what does it mean that it helped us postpone getting old?
Well, for them, if their kids are leaving the house and moving on with going to college or getting a career started, the parents would be at home and they would probably feel older being at home alone than if they were sending their kids off to college or having the kids move out to pursue a job. I mean, sending your kid to college is a major life event for the child and for the parents.
This word forfeit, what does it mean to forfeit something?
To give up.
To give up something, yes. And what does he mean? Money isn't everything.
He's saying that he would rather be with his family than be saving up more money. I mean, to some people, money is the only important thing in their life. Saving up as much money as possible is a major issue. To other people, there are things that are much more important.
Okay. This is Sandra Lane, 49, and she says it's domestic hell with her son Alan, who's 27.
The fridge is the main issue. He is always helping himself with some tidbit. I've been saving for dinner, and he puts empty milk cartons back. The phone is not a cause for complaint. He is always getting in touch with his mates. But when I get angry, he just says I should get a mobile phone. And he borrows the car without asking. So I suddenly find myself mentally out. He has been living at home since he graduated from university 5 years ago. By the time he finished his studies, he'd accumulated 4,000 pounds in debt. I can't charge him rent. There's no point he couldn't and wouldn't pay it. But he has always got money for clothes and nights out. I'm at my wit's end with it all. I had been planning to go on a dream cruise as soon as Alan left home. Now that's all it can be.
Okay. So we have some difficulties here in the family nest. What does it mean, the main issue? The main issue.
The biggest problem.
So what is the biggest problem then?
She says the biggest problem is the refrigerator, with him eating food and not throwing away milk cartons after he drinks the milk.
So what does it mean? He's helping himself to some titbit. What's a titbit?
No, it's a small amount of food.
Small amounts of food in the fridge. And what does he do with the empty milk carton?
He puts them back in the refrigerator instead of throwing them away.
Yes, he should put them in the garbage, but he puts them in the fridge. So his mother's really unhappy with his behaviour. And what's her main complaint about the telephone?
He's always calling his friends, and when she gets angry, he tells her to buy a mobile phone.
And what about the car? What's the problem there with the car?
Borrows the car without asking, and so she's not able to go out on her own in the car because it's gone.
Imagine that. Your son takes your car without asking. I think she doesn't have much control over him. What would you do with a son like that, Lou?
Oh, I think I would just try to talk to him. These are the problems that we're having here. These are problems that can easily be solved. If you want to eat some food in the refrigerator, talk to me about it first. If you want to borrow the car, ask me first. I want you to prioritize paying off your debts. I want you to spend less money on clothes, less on nights out, pay your debts off, pay me rent. and maybe get yourself into a better job or get a raise or promotion at work so that you don't have to live at home anymore, right? This is someone who is having a problem with their son living at home and the level of respect that he has for her.
Okay, and how long has he been living at home?
Looks like he's been living at home for 5 years, right? Went to university,
Yeah.
graduated, and then came back, and has been there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Does he have any debts?
He does, £4,000.
I see. So is this why she doesn't bother wasting her time charging him rent?
Well, she says that he couldn't and wouldn't pay it if she tried to.
Yeah. What's he always got money for?
Clothes and nights out. Those are obviously not very important expenses, or they shouldn't be very important expenses for a person.
So do you think she's happy with his behaviour?
No, she seems very unhappy.
She seems very unhappy, yes she does. Okay. Who are the Kippers and what do they refuse to do?
Kippers are people who have their kids living with them, and it's costing money, and they're refusing to kick their kids out of their home.
Yeah. And what do the letters KIPPERS stand for?
Kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings.
Yes, that's very good. What exactly does eroding retirement savings mean?
It means that instead of these parents paying for or saving up for their retirements, they are spending extra money on the living expenses of having their kids living in their homes with them.
Yes, and what does fly the nest mean?
It means leaving your parents' house at a certain age.
With regard to Vicky Sargent, can you tell me, who does she live with?
Vicky Sargent is 30. She lives with her father, Walter.
Okay, and how do they get on together?
They go very well.
Why does she still live at home?
She likes the comfort of being with her father.
Okay.
She says that she wouldn't be able to afford a very nice place on her own. She would just be renting a room in a flat with other people. She likes having her father keep her company. Her father treats her to dinner once a week.
So what advantages and disadvantages are mentioned?
The advantages are she has him for company and she saves money. Disadvantages, I mean, she does say that her friends say she lives in a bubble, but then she also calls them jealous because they have financial problems and she doesn't.
That was my next question. What do her friends say? Thank you for that. Now, I just want to ask you about Martin. Who does he live with?
He lives with his parents.
And how do they get on together?
He lives with his parents, Kathy and Robert, and they get on well.
Okay. Why does he still live at home?
He says he can't imagine moving out. He says that when he gets back from work, his parents always have tea for him, and they get on well together.
Okay. Has he ever lived away from home?
He did spend about 2 years living with a friend and then traveling to Australia, but he built up some debt and wanted to pay it back.
What advantages and disadvantages are mentioned?
It looks like, you know, the cost of living is much lower if you live at home.
Okay.
His friends call him a mommy's boy.
So that was the next question. Yeah, what do his friends say? They call him a mummy's boy.
Yeah, but they like it.
Thank you very much. So now we're going to look once more at the parents, Bill and Sandra, and if we make this comparison between the two different parents, who is happy with the arrangement and why, and who isn't happy with the arrangement?
It's like Bill Kennedy is very happy with the arrangement, and Sandra Lane is not.
Why is that?
Bill Kennedy loves his family. He says that being able to spend time with his family is much more important to him than money. Sandra Lane looks like she has a lot of personal problems with her son, that he is not very respectful in terms of what happens with the food in the refrigerator and the use of the car and not paying rent and having debt and whatnot.
Okay, and who is at their wits' end?
Sandra Lane is.
Okay, well, why is she at her wits' end?
She can't cope with the different problems that she's having with her son's lack of respect for her feelings.
Okay. What do they say about foreign travel?
Let's see here. Well, Bill Kennedy says that he could travel to Portugal, Paris, or Peru for snorkeling trips, but he'd rather spend time with his children than travel internationally. And Sandra Lane says that she wanted to go on a dream cruise as soon as her son left home, but she's not able to afford it.
Okay. And what do they say about money?
It's like Bill says that spending extra money on having us kids at home is worthwhile. And Sandra Lane is saying that her son has 4,000 quid in debt. He is not willing or able to pay her any rent, but he does spend money on things like clothes and going out, so she has a problem with that.
Thank you for that. So now we're going to look at vocabulary work. We're going to complete the sentences with words to do with money from the text. And who does each sentence refer to? So, number one, she isn't able to what?
Rent.
To rent a flat, and who does that refer to?
Well, Vicky Sargent says that she would have to rent a room in a flat, so probably her.
Yes, Vicky Sargent, okay. Number two, he couldn't afford to pay off his debt. Who does that refer to?
Sandra Lane's son has 4,000 in debt. He couldn't afford it.
Sandra Lane's son couldn't afford it. Okay, number three. Her friends are always
strapped for cash
because they have to pay high rents. And who's that?
That would be Vicky Sargent.
I think it's her friends, isn't it?
Vicky Sargent's friend.
Vicky Sargent's friends, yes.
Always strapped for cash. She lives at home, doesn't pay high rents. They did.
Okay. Number four, she contributes to the phone bill. Who is that?
Vicky Sargent as well.
Okay, Vicky Sargent. Number five, she doesn't She doesn't charge him rent because he wouldn't pay it.
That would be Sandra Lane.
Talking about her son. Number six, he accumulated debts of £4,000.
That would also be Sandra Lane's son.
Sandra Lane's son. To accumulate is to get more and more. Here it's a negative thing, it's money which he has to pay to somebody else. And he sponges off his mother in many ways. Who is that?
That looks also like Sandra Lane's son.
Sandra Lane's son, okay. Number 9, he believes that money isn't everything. Who's that?
Bill Kennedy.
Bill Kennedy, very good. So, what do you think? What's your opinion of Vicky and Martin?
Vicky and Martin seem happy with their lives. She doesn't sound very ambitious. Maybe she does want to get more motivated and try to increase her income. But if she's enjoying spending time with her father, that's not a problem.
Do you sympathise more with Bill's views or Sandra's, and why?
Well, I think they're in two different situations. It sounds like Bill really enjoys spending time with his children. It sounds like they would almost have to be people who are very respectful to him and what's important to him. Sandra seems as though her major problem is her son not being very respectful. So maybe if her son did have an attitude adjustment, she would be able to live with him in that home, and they would both be able to have positive lives. So I think if I had really disrespectful children, I would try to work out problems with them. If that didn't work out, then maybe kick them out of the house. But I don't know. I really can't say that one is right and the other is wrong. I just think it looks like two very different situations they're living in.
Okay. Is it possible to grow up while still living at home, do you think?
Well, I mean, you would be able to get your education if you went to a university nearby. You'd be able to get a job and learn about how to be successful in the workplace if you're living at home and you're working in a workplace nearby. So in those senses, I think you could grow up, but I mean, not having the stresses of having to pay your rents and having to pay bills and whatnot. I think at least some people would consider those stresses to be part of growing up, and you wouldn't have that experience while you're living at home.
Yes, okay. Do you know any kippers?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, I have been an English teacher for the last 4 years, and almost all the teachers with whom I've worked have been from America and Great Britain and South Africa and Australia, and so all of those people are in Saudi Arabia instead of living back in their home countries living with their parents. So for the past several years, no, I haven't been around any kippers at all.
Thank you for that. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson on kippers. And as I said before, we're using the Headway Plus book, and I hope you've enjoyed today's demonstration lesson, and with Mr. Liu assisting me in the background. And thank you for attending, and I'm sure you will continue to learn much from both myself and Al Jazeera International Academy, as well as the Headway books. Thank you very much.